Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live. We're in the studio. We're going to be talking about all things Manchester United and Ruben Amorim and Rasmus Hojlund related. So make sure you are getting involved in the comments and the chat. And if you've not done so already, please smash a like. It's the morning after the night before Manchester United getting that first win under Ruben Amorim, under the lights at Old Trafford against the mighty Bodo Glimt. The mighty Bodo Glimt Rezzies, I think it was. I think that was their second string team because they've got a big game at the weekend. But it was that win, what we needed. And it's good to see it happening. It's good to see Rasmus Hojlund amongst the goals. It's good to see Manchester United. At one point, it looked like we're going to make hard work of it. Obviously, going in front, then going behind. But we rallied. We got a win. And we can relax a little bit. Because you know, right? You've been around long enough, each and every one of you, to know, had we lost last night, a narrative starts already. It doesn't take long for a Manchester United manager to start getting, stories in the media about him, questioning him and all that. And now you might say, Jay, come on, it would never happen after 2 games. Hello? Brentford away a few years ago, do you remember that one? That was it. Everyone was like, oh, actually, Ten Hag could be the shortest serving manager ever. But obviously, it to a certain degree, it works out for a little while anyway. So yeah, good to get that first win. We move on, and good to see Rasmus Hojlund doing well. We're going to get into Hojlund in a minute, but first of all, I'm going to get into some of your quotes, some of your comments, sorry. Make sure you are hitting that like button, please, people. It's good to see the usual suspects in there. Santa Notch says, good morning to all. Are we having that one? No? Okay. Morris Marshall, Grumpy Old Fart is in the chat as well. Phobo Sacco Man, Robert Sayer, some of the usual suspects. Make sure you are smashing that like. Alex says, City fans on a meltdown commenting on United posts about Pep being a better manager. Gotta love it. City's implosion, whilst hilarious, I think it needs to be studied. I've never seen anything like it. A team that's just won the league, losing, 6 out of 7 they've lost, is it? Was it 5 out of 6? I've lost count. I think it's 5 out of 6, isn't it? Yeah, it's 5 on a spin though, wasn't it? 5 in a row. 5 defeats in a row. That's insane. You know when the last time United lost 5 games in a row? Have a guess. Does anyone know? Put it out to the group. Anyone here? I remember it well. It was 1940. Yeah? It was the wartime league. And it was the wartime league and the wartime cup, right? Those are those results put together was 5 defeats on the spin for Manchester United 84 years ago. So that's how rare it is for any club, let alone Manchester United. But City, it's happening to them right now. And the only reason I'm not laughing is because it probably means the Scousers are going to walk the league. So that's rubbish. Let's talk about Ruben Amorim. Enough of Manchester City. We don't need to talk about them. Amorim enjoys special first Man United win despite anxiety. I'm going to get into his actions on the touchline later on. But he was very, very animated, Ruben Amorim. And I like that. I like a manager who's busy and he's about and he's giving instructions, especially a new manager who's got a team playing a certain way. But I'll get to that a little bit later on. You can see some of the quotes here. He says, I get anxious because I don't know what will happen. We don't control anything at the moment. I don't know the players and we have not worked a lot together. We go to the game excited, but at the same time, you are nervous because you don't know how the game will go. Yeah, you could see that he's very sort of animated and anxious. He's also honest and quite sort of critical in terms of the way he assesses things as well. You can see here, he says, we improved different things since the last game. We controlled more of the tempo, pushed the team a little bit higher up the pitch and created more chances. He complained that we should kill the game before the end. He says, I like the way the players tried to play our game. Sometimes we won the ball and have had problems in the past giving the ball away too much. The mindset is keeping the ball. They are really trying, and I think we deserved the win. Also on Rasmus Hojlund. Rasmus Hojlund obviously got his brace yesterday. The manager spoke about that, but he was also, again, praising him, but not afraid to be slightly critical, saying about Hojlund, he has to improve because sometimes he gives too many touches when he holds the ball. But he's very important, and we're on a low block because he's the guy who connects the transitions. So let's have a look. I think we've got a clip here. Let's have a look what he had to say about Rasmus Hojlund.
I think he improved the connection. I think he has to improve more because sometimes he gives too many touches when he holds the ball. But it's very important for us because when we are in a low block, he is the guy to hold the ball, he connect for transitions. He did that very well. He has that characteristics. He was aggressive in the goals. He was aggressive. in the box, and he is a quality player. I think he scores the most difficult goals. He has a lot to improve. Is the same for every player, but he did a great job today.
So you see, he's praising, but he's not all just completely in adulation of him. He's quite analytical in his comments there, and I like it. I like the way Ruben Amorim carries himself. I like what he said. In terms of the media side of things, I know there was this report that he'd said he wanted to do less media, but I think he comes across very well in press conferences and in interviews. And I think he's helped by the fact that was probably one of the biggest flaws for Erik ten Hag was he didn't come across quite as well in press conferences in the media. We had Chris Wheeler on here the other day, and he said that Erik ten Hag was quite a decent bloke, and in terms of decent bloke, it sounds a bit, quite friendly when you chatted to him. And we picked up a little bit of that on pre-season, where it's a bit more relaxed and it's not quite as intense because obviously the season's not started, and both pre-seasons went on. One of them, or that he was there for, one of them he just arrived. The other one, he'd had a very successful first season. Even the third pre-season, he'd obviously won the FA Cup, so the previous season had ended on a high. So Erik ten Hag could be quite, okay in terms of when you got to meet him, got to know him, not know him very well, but when you chatted to him. However, he did struggle a little bit in press conferences, didn't he? You could tell he wasn't 100% comfortable. Ruben Amorim carries himself a lot better, seems a lot more at ease with it all, shall I say. And yeah, I've been impressed with him so far. The big point, though, is you've got to win football matches. That's what you've got to do. And to be fair, Ruben Amorim, he's won his first one, and I'm hoping that'll be it now. It'll be the first of many. What else have we got here? Let's talk about this Liam Delap links even. You can see here David Ornstein has tweeted about Liam Delap. Now, we obviously played it the other day. Delap played pretty well. Didn't score. Probably should have done. Some good saves from Andre Onana, but you can see what he's about. There's a real quality there. Now, there's a story here from David Ornstein, who is like the oracle when it comes to transfer news. He is the tier one-ist of the tier ones. And he says, Liam Delap only joined Ipswich in July, but leading clubs already look at it for summer. If form continues, Ipswich may lose a 21-year-old amid Big Six interest. Chelsea, United tracking. City can buy back. City is an interesting one. Be curious to see what happens there. They've got a buyback clause. Because I know they've got Erling Haaland, but Alvarez left, didn't he? They didn't really replace him. Would they go back in or would they get him back in? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We've obviously been linked quite a lot with Viktor Gyokeres, but someone like Delap, I know Ronaldo Brown on this channel is a big fan of his, and you can see the quality, is there. And he's that age, and he's a youngster. You're probably all going to get better. He's scored quite a few goals this season. He certainly seems to have adapted to life in the Premier League. Want to keep an eye on, as always. We will let you know if there are any developments. Dan Jolly says, get on, Jay. Finally caught you live. Flashburn52 says 1940s. That was in the answer to my question about when's the last time United lost 5 in a row. Talking of Viktor Gyokeres, there was a story here in the rounds. I think this is part of the Ornstein piece. He just mentions that Gyokeres could go in January. I think that's what he says. He said he could go in January from Sporting, but the likelihood is he'll go in the summer, which I think we all expect, don't we? I think the common thinking is that Viktor Gyokeres will leave Sporting. I don't think they're going to keep hold of him forever. Likelihood is it'll be next summer. Don't expect him to go in January. He might do. Someone comes in with a big offer. Certainly don't think he'll come to United in the summer. In January, sorry. But in the summer, I think that's something that could happen there. C. Joe James John says, new Evan Ferguson, talking about Liam Delap. Evan Ferguson was a funny one, wasn't he? Because his stock was really high. Was it the beginning of last season? Was it when he got that hat-trick against Newcastle, was it? And he was linked with United. There was talk of him being like 100 million quid. Do you remember Evan Ferguson? I know that sounds absolutely insane, but he was, what was he, 18, 19 at the time. He bagged in a load of goals, scoring in the Premier League, getting a hat-trick. I was like, look, Evan Ferguson is going to be the next big thing. And then he kind of fell off a cliff a little bit in terms of goals and assists. And to the point now where I don't think he starts at Brighton. And he was always in and out of the team anyway. I think they were managing his minutes, but now he's not even first choice. There were rumours that he'd be available for a loan move in January. And I think the Brighton manager said that isn't going to happen, or he kind of said, I don't know where that's coming from. So, yeah, Evan Ferguson is an interesting one. Liam, I mean, I'm not giving up on Evan Ferguson by any stretch of the imagination. He's still a young lad. I think there was a lot of hype, though, because he scored. He went through that little purple patch and because of his age. Liam Delap seems a little bit more of a rounded, of the finished article. I know he's not finished, but there's a little bit more to it than just he's hit a bit of a purple patch. His all-round game seems very good as well. We'll have to wait and see, though. I don't want to get too carried away. Plus, he was at City, wasn't he? So they probably put a Manchester United tax on it. That if we want to buy him, we've got to pay 5 times as much. What else have we got? Yes. Is this the Ruben Amorim on the sideline? I noticed this last night. Ruben Amorim on the sideline was very animated indeed. There's an article in the Evening News, I think, talking about his reaction to Lisandro Martinez. I thought his reaction to Amad Diallo was just as interesting as well, because he was constantly talking to Amad Diallo, constantly shouting. I sat in a different seat yesterday. Me and McCullough sat in the south stand, so it's sort of just behind the dugout to the left of the dugout. Pretty good seats, to be fair, not that far from the pitch. And I became transfixed. It's probably a bit weird. I just couldn't take my eyes off Amorim at one point. I was just watching what he was doing for about 5 minutes. I was just like, wasn't even watching the game properly. I was watching him because he was so animated and he kept talking to Amad Diallo in particular. But he's very instructive to the players. And I noticed a lot of the players, and Jamie Carragher brought this up in his Monday night analysis after the Ipswich game. The players were sort of turning to him going, where do you want me? Not in a bad way, like what you on about, but like, right, I'm doing the right thing here. What's going on? And he was like, look, you there, no, push up and all this and that. The players were responding. You can see he is still trying to get them playing the way he wants to play. He's only been here 3 weeks, whatever it is. He's only had about 10 days with a lot of these players, if that. So they're nowhere near ready or sort of at that level where they understand completely what he wants from them. And his blueprint or his imprint is on this team right now. He's getting there. You can see it. You can see there's a progress there in just the first 2 games. But it is going to take a while. Joe Johnson says, yes, Jay, your legend. Mount, Rasmus, Naza, Onana, and Ugarte killed it last night. As if we care. I think he's talking about Evan Ferguson, says he's available on loan. A full name Huggy says, if Xerxes goes, then it might happen. I think he's talking about the Evan Ferguson thing. We'll have to wait and see about the whole Evan Ferguson thing. Also, as well, I'm just going to put a little link in the chat to some of our merch. You see there, I've got this little gifted piece on. We've got some Christmas hoodies and Christmas jumpers there. There's a link in the chat. Go and check them out if you can. If you order now, you should get them in time for Crimbo. What else have we got here? Owen Hargreaves has warned that his midfield tactics will be exposed by the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City going forward. Right, I'm going to stop you right here. I get where he's coming from. Yeah, and it is going to be more difficult against the likes of Arsenal and City. Well, maybe City not, because they can't stop losing football matches, and even when they're winning, they throw it away. But I don't think that Ruben Amorim, it is going to be very naive. Now, you see what Owen Hargreaves said is, I think they've got a lot of good players. Do they have the players capable of winning the Premier League or Champions League? Probably not. That's going to take time to sort the recruitment out. The most important thing is that they get result. Obviously, Everton at the weekend is a tough game, but at home, you'd expect them to win that game. Tough fixtures, especially the Arsenal one coming up after that, but they need to find a way to get results. Today, they didn't play brilliantly, but they found a way to win the game, which is the most important thing. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he's right. It was the most important thing. We needed that win. Just don't let a narrative build. Don't let any mither start. We don't want any issues. We don't want any questions. We got to win, but I expect this team to improve and expect it to progress. The big thing now for me, and we saw a bit of this last night, is when players get that opportunity, do they take it? Ruben Amorim has more or less said that everyone's going to get a chance, and he's given everyone a chance so far. Malacia's had a chance. Mount's had a chance. Anthony's had a chance. These are players that some people are looking at going, have they got much of a future at Old Trafford? He gave him a start against Bodo, Glimt. It's not like he's picked them for the cup final or whatever. But he has given them minutes, and they have to take these opportunities. And hopefully, we'll see that with a few other players as well. We'll see them taking this opportunity, showing what they can do. It'll be interesting with Joshua Zirkzee, for example, what's going to happen there. A lot of people have given up with him already. Is he going to get an opportunity? Is he going to be able to play? under this manager and perform at the levels that you'd expect from a Manchester United player. We know that obviously Rasmus Hojlund has had a very good game, got a couple of goals. Marcus Rashford scored in his debut on his first game for the new manager, but is he a 9? Probably not. So it's going to be interesting to see how he works out the attack in particular. Santa Not says, just sounds like Hargreaves stating the obvious to me. Arsenal will be tough. Oppo, yeah, we know. Marcus says, Anthony showed he can be a squad option for now. But then Tiger UK says, nah, Anthony was shocking last night. Maybe it's a confidence and rust thing. Paul Sherlock says, Anthony's audition under Amorim puts him firmly on the for sale list, but with PSR breathing down our necks, can we afford to take a massive hit? We'll have to wait and see. Alex says he wasn't shocking at all, decent on the high press. Seems like Anthony's divided opinion here. I thought he did okay. I wasn't particularly impressed with him, if I'm being honest. But I don't think it was like the worst performance I've ever seen. It was a bit meh. There's a few other players that were getting a lot of comments about them last night. You had Malacia. He obviously had a little bit of an issue with the second goal, I think it was. But he did well going forward. Obviously, you can see he's a little bit rusty. And the 45 minutes was important for him. Get some minutes under his belt. He's only played, 45 minutes against Huddersfield under 21s, I think, since he had that injury nightmare. We did a video on that. And it wasn't just injuries as well. He had tragedy. I think his grandma died. And his dad was ill. So it was all happening. Then he had an operation. Didn't quite work out. Had to have another operation. So there's been a bit of issues there, obviously. 72 games he missed between May 2023 and November 2024. It's awful for the lad. I really do feel for him. I don't think you can judge him on yesterday too much, one way or the other. I don't think you can say, oh yeah, he's ready, or oh no, he's not good enough. I think we just need to see him get more minutes, and we need to see if he can get back to the levels that he's needed. The thing with Simon Lassie, he's always been like a squad player anyway. Luke Shaw starts over him. The problem with that is Luke Shaw's injured a lot too. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Tyrone Malacia. I do like him. He's a likeable kid, isn't he? He's got a lovely smile. But we need more than that to survive at Manchester United. So we'll see how he gets on. Ugarte stats. We've got some Ugarte stats here. Game by numbers. 100% successful take-ons. 92% pass accuracy. This is from Statman Dave, who I bumped into last night. 78 total touches. 4 passes into the final third. 4 tackles attempted. 4 tackles won. 3 interceptions. 2 clearances. 1 assist. A huge performance in the middle of the park, he says about Manuel Ugarte. He's growing into the role at Old Trafford, isn't he? He is. You can see there's a player there. And he is. He's doing well. He's loving life. So, yeah, I've been very impressed with him. And hopefully, long may it continue. I'm going to wrap it up there. Make sure, if you've not done so already, you check out the merch that we've got on offer. Don't forget as well to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have loads of content coming up. We're going to have the brew later on. It's going to be Scotty and Stephen Howson on that one. Plus, also, we'll be looking ahead to the Everton game. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jay Motty. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.